I did a special last night on the Georgia revote. Now it's happening. What is it? January 5th or 5th, and it's for all of the marbles. All of the marbles. If the Republicans only win one, you're going to lose Mitt Romney. I mean, hey, we should take guns away. Mitt's there. He's like, yeah.
Murkowski, Collins.
Yeah, I mean, you lose one, and you're at a tie, and then Kamala. You have to have both of them, and even then, it's risky. If we lose these two Senate seats in Georgia, there's nothing holding them back from changing everything. Barry Loudermilk is with us now. Hi, Barry.
Glenn, how are you doing?
Good. Congressman from Georgia. First of all, give me a rundown on what's happening in Georgia with the recount and the Trump case.
Well, the recount was going back and doing a hand recount. We have machine voting in Georgia, which you go up to electronic machine, you make your choice, then it prints a hard copy ballot. This is the first major election we've had that has had that option, which I fought for years to be able to have a hard copy ballot. So that hard copy comes out of the machine. You look at it, you verify, yes, these are the people I voted for. Then they run it through a counting machine and it goes into a box. So part of the hand recount was not just taking the electronic total, but actually counting those ballots. The good news out of that was the in-person voting that the machines produced was accurate. There wasn't some vote switching on that part. And the reason that's such good news is because the majority of Trump voters came out and voted in person, either early or on election day. So,
and is that the Dominion system?
That is a Dominion system.
That's good news.
So, yeah, so the good news is the Dominion system did work. The issue we're having is with the absentee ballots. Now, the recount is going to go through. Trump is going to cut into Biden's lead when it comes out, but it's not going to put Trump back on top because they're just counting these ballots. Now, we do have – these mostly are absentee ballots that went from Biden. I mean, unbelievable number. And when I say unbelievable, I mean an unbelievable number of absentee ballots went to Biden. And so the issue is going to be challenging, were any of those ballots illegal or fraudulent? And so we're actually having some people I personally know have filed affidavits saying that they have seen boxes of ballots that were pristine. These are absentee ballots. In other words, they had never been folded to where they would have been going into an envelope. There were no creases. And in fact, where you fill out the little bubble for your choice was so perfect it appeared, now I'm just quoting what they're saying, appeared that it may have been run through a printer or a machine. So we do have several counts of that going through. So, and I talked to some people today who said, yes, these people have filed affidavits. And I personally know one of them, and she is not a conspiracy type person. And so there's numbers of those. And that's the trick, is getting to those ballots so we can actually, and I'm not just saying this so Trump will win. I think it's extremely important that Trump gets another 4 years, but it's more important that we have an election system of integrity.
Yeah, we have to trust it.
That's the most important thing. Exactly.
Okay, so I don't know if you saw our messages yesterday, but we know that the whistleblower has come forward in a sworn affidavit detailing a clerical error at the polling center in DeKalb County. He says over 1,000 votes were given to Biden that shouldn't have. And it's one thing to hear about him and another thing to hear him right straight from the people that saw it. Two questions on this. One of my researchers went and was poking around and just seeing what he had said, et cetera, and found it incredibly easy to unmask this whistleblower and his address and everything. And I think he's in danger. Is there a way to protect this guy's identity? Because the state's not doing it.
Right. And there needs to be, because back when all the riots were happening, We had somebody, the term doxing. I had my home address doxed by someone.
Right.
And so fortunately, they didn't get it exactly right. But we do know some of those nefarious people with various groups were trying to figure out where I live. To an element, unfortunately, you have to expect that when you're in a position such as I'm in or you're in, that is very public. But when a citizen who simply needs to do their civic duty could get that kind of threat, yes, we have to be able to protect these people in one way or the other. And that's something that I think the state legislature is going to have to look at. In the meantime, I think law enforcement is going to have to provide some level of protection to them. The problem is if you're in a strongly Democrat-run county with a Democrat sheriff, in today's day and time, you just can't trust that. And I hate to say that, but we're that divided right now as a nation.
Can you assure the American people that this next election in Georgia is going to be safe, monitored, counted right?
I desperately want to do that, Glenn. I've got to see how desperate our Secretary of State wants that to be as well, and how much effort we're going to put in fighting this. I believe there is going to be. And I've talked to some members of the Georgia legislature who want to act quickly to make some changes, but they're not going to apply to this election. The only way that we're going to know that this election is conducted honestly and with integrity, with a lot of people having access to monitor the election process. And we got to have more than we did before. Good citizens who care about this nation, who care less about the outcome than they do an honest election system. And you're absolutely right. Both of the Democrats running for Senate, they are socialist Marxists. In fact, the one you were talking about, who idolizes Reverend Wright as a prophet, recently came out and said that abortion aligns with Christian values. It's biblical. I'm like, I can't find that in the Bible.
No, I don't. He also says Jesus was a Marxist, so, he was for socialism. And a Palestinian. He wasn't a Jew. He was a Palestinian. Barry, I appreciate it. One last thing, just a personal note. We know how to contact the whistleblower, but we don't want to freak them out. We can protect their identity, but we'd love to share that story from the horse's mouth with voice disguising, et cetera, et cetera. Would you mind reaching out so it's not a scary thing and just seeing if there's an interest so we can call them? Because, again, we don't want to freak them out.
Right. Yeah, we'll be glad to work with you on that, Glenn, to see what we can get. And I'm working on some other, I can't divulge what it is right now, but there are some other recordings that may be of interest for us to get out as well. But we'll be glad to work with you on that.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Barry Loudermilk, Congressman from Georgia. Appreciate it, Barry.